Alright, I've decided to replace my existing home security system with this security system from Onwote. Now this system is a 4K Ultra HD camera system, but the main reason I'm switching to it is that the system has the ability to detect humans over just a motion event. So you can set your alerts up to tell you if there's a human detected over just a standard motion alert, which should greatly reduce the number of alerts that I receive. And it should also cut down on the amount of events that are being recorded if I set it up that way. So let's take a look at everything that the system has. And I'm going to go through some of the basics of the installation. I probably won't show you each camera being installed because I really want to get into the functionality and the quality of the cameras. And I should also mention that these are IP66 rated cameras, and they're also a super wide view. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the kit has. I'll get it installed and then we'll see how it works. Alright, let's take a quick look at everything you get with the Onwote NVR security kit. Okay, this is the NVR, or network video recorder itself. This also acts as a network switch, and it also provides power to the cameras using PoE, or power over Ethernet. Okay, this is the port you're going to use to plug into your LAN or your home network. Okay, you have an HDMI port, audio in, audio out. You also have VGA. And a couple of USB ports, all right, along with the power. This has a 2 terabyte hard drive in it. I think you can get them with 4 or larger. It includes the manual. You get 6 60-foot Cat5e Ethernet cables. You also get a network cable that's going to allow you to plug the NVR into your LAN. You get a USB mouse, okay? You get 6 Ultra HD 4K 8 megapixel cameras. These are aluminum housings. Each camera also has weatherproof Ethernet connectors, and if you're using an external power supply and you weren't powering these over Ethernet, you have a connector for that as well, okay? You get 6, obviously. This is the other side of the weatherproof Ethernet connector. And I'll probably show you how to install one of these, but I'm not going to go through the entire installation. You get the mounting screws and the anchors, and obviously the power brick with a nice long cord. All right, so the installation process for each camera is actually really easy. In this example here, we're installing onto drywall. I'm just going to take one of the screws and I'm going to mark the holes in the drywall. And you would do the same for wood, except you wouldn't need to use the anchors. Okay, so I've got 2 marks here. Now I'm just going to drill 7/32 inch hole in each of the marked locations. Okay, now if you were installing into wood, I would just use a much smaller drill bit because you don't need it to be this large. You just want to drill like a pilot hole. Okay, we'll take our drywall anchors, and there should be some resistance, okay, but it shouldn't just fall in there, but also you don't want it to be so tight that it bends the anchor. And you can just take the butt of your screwdriver or a hammer, okay. Incidentally, I've got a link to this camera system down below, so you can read the additional Amazon reviews and just check out what people have to say about the Onwote security system. I did some research because I hadn't heard of the company before, and they've been selling on Amazon for over 12 years. Okay, let's take the screws that were provided, and we'll get those into the anchors. Now, here's something I've been doing, and it's not necessary really, but I've been leaving them just a little bit loose until I get through the adjustment process, and I'll kind of show you how that works. And the only reason for that is because you might need to get a little bit of slack in the cable. Okay, so you just tighten those down. Now the other 2 screws that are pre-existing, and they've been tight on all of them, but I may have loosened this one. They are what allow you to adjust the camera. Okay, so when you loosen those up, you have the ability to rotate this outer cover. You can rotate the camera. As a matter of fact, we want the microphone to be up on this one, like that, okay? So you can move the camera side to side, up and down. You can also rotate the camera, which, you know, in a couple of my shots, it looked like they're maybe a little bit sideways. And that's because what I try to do when I'm doing these installations is I try to make sure that I don't have a lot of the house in the frame. You know what I mean? So sometimes the angle may be like this, and that's, you know, by design to some extent, because you know, I don't want to shoot half the side of the house or have half the house taking up part of the frame. So I might rotate the camera one way or the other, along with moving it side to side, up and down. You can pivot it this way. So you have a lot of mounting options. I'm going to show you another example of how I mount it under a soffit, a plastic soffit panel. In this case, I've got the cable coming out the back, but you can also drill a hole if you have access and feed the cable from in behind. All right, let me show you that next. If you wanted to mount the camera on a plastic soffit panel, all you've got to do is take a thin piece of plywood like this, and I drill a 3/4 inch hole and that's just the right size to fit the Ethernet adapter through, and that gives you a nice rigid surface to mount the camera under your soffit panel. Alright, even though I haven't been using these waterproof connectors on the Soffit Mount cameras, I thought I'd take a second and show you how they work, because I have used them on a couple of other cameras, but it's easier to show you here than up on a ladder, okay? So you get that, and you get a little bag with the rest of the pieces, okay? You should have sort of this O-ring, this bushing that is split, and then this piece here. Alright, so you're going to take this piece here, put it on the cable first, and you want the threaded side to be towards the RJ45. Then we're going to take our little split bushing and kind of put that on. We're going to slide this down over the cable like this. We're going to put our O-ring on and make sure that it's not rolled when you do it. Okay. You're going to plug your Ethernet connector in, your RJ45. You're going to take this, and you should kind of see that rubber O-ring or bushing compress a little bit. Then you're going to take this bushing and kind of wind it up in here. These little, I guess you'd call them little compression fingers, if you will. Put it as far as you can. Now when we thread this on, it's going to compress on that rubber bushing and make a nice tight seal, okay? That's all there is to it. Alright, so we're out here in the garage, and what I've done is I brought the 4K monitor out here. This is not the monitor that I would normally have physically connected to my NVR, but I really wanted to plug into the 4K HDMI port so that we can see the quality directly from the HDMI. Now right now we're looking at substreams, but if I bring up a full stream here, or a mainstream they call it, this is where we are. And you can see that I have the human detection rectangle being applied to me, but not Mr. Connor here, okay? Now, one nice thing that I'm going to note is the stream out of the NVR is almost real time. So for a business application, that's important. So you can bring up and you can configure this to have, say, a video wall, or you could have a display like this. And the nice thing to know is if you're plugged directly into the NVR through an HDMI cable, you're looking at almost real-time live feed, okay? Now, if you're looking at it over the app, or say a mobile app especially, it may be a little bit delayed, all right? If we look at the front yard here, you can see that I've got this flag blowing, but it's not triggering a motion alert. Now, I do have it set to record all the time on the schedule, because what I've been doing is playing with different settings on different cameras because I wanted to kind of see how the NVR would respond. And I've got this one set to record 24/7, but I'm not getting any kind of a motion alert, even though that flag is blowing in the breeze. Okay, and that's because if we go look at it under alarms here and flip over to driveway wide, I've got the this is the motion detect, and this is the human body detect. Now, if I disabled that, we'd probably be getting the motion alerts with that flag blowing, okay? Oops, but we'd have to be over on the driveway wide right there, okay? But right now I have it enabled because I really want to walk out there. I'm going to take Connor for a little walk, and what we'll do is we'll see if it draws a rectangle around me and not him. And I also kind of want to get a feel for how far out it'll do that, okay? So let me go and bring up that main feed, and I've set the output, the HDMI output, to 4K. Now I'm hoping that my camera's capturing some of that, but it's probably not doing it justice. I mean, I can see the texture in the grass, I can see the dandelions over here. Now when we go into the and capture it on the computer, I'll be able to show you a little bit better. But keep in mind that the feed may not be as clear as this, but it's phenomenal. If we compare it, before I go outside, if we just compare that to a one of my 5 megapixel cameras here that I've got hooked up, keep in mind this is an 8-channel NVR. You get 6 cameras, so I've hooked up 2 additional cameras. This is the one out back. It's one of my existing cameras, and I've just got it shooting off into the field there. But there's a definite difference in the color and the quality of the picture. I mean, there's no question about it, right? So let's bring this one up, and we'll take Mr. Connor for a little walk. I'm just going to leave the camera rolling here, and let's see if it detects us. All right, I should also mention that a 4K monitor or TV is not required, okay? I just really want to show the quality of the image on a 4K monitor. The rest of the video, we'll be looking at this monitor, but it will be using the app. It won't be plugged directly into the NVR, okay? Now, I mean, there's a lot of functionality on this NVR. You know, don't get me wrong, we can do playback here. There's a shot of the night vision, and look at the bugs. I had this on again to record at all times, but you can see the motion events down here, and most of them would be bugs. And there again is why, if you enable human detection, we wouldn't be getting any of these, or hardly any of them. Sometimes it may pick one up incorrectly. Okay, so what I want to demonstrate here is that you can manage many of the functions of the NVR through a web browser. Now, one caveat is that in order to manage some of the functionality, you do have to have Internet Explorer and install a web plugin. I do not believe that the plugin is available for Chrome or Edge. So I'm just going to demonstrate some of that functionality. Now, keep in mind, we can do the same thing on the NVR itself. It's just a little easier for me to record here. So if I went to motion, for example, and we look at the driveway wide, you may recall that there is a flag up here, and I said that, you know, if we didn't have the human detection on, that it would cause all these motion alerts. So if I take this button here and draw an area around that flag, essentially excluding this from the motion detect area, and hit save, that would prevent that flag from causing motion alerts, okay? Let's go ahead and clear all, and we can draw, if we want, the entire area, and hit save. Okay, the human and vehicle detection, this is where you can set that. And I went ahead and set human vehicle detection on all of the cameras. Well, my 2 existing cameras don't have that functionality. So there again, this is another difference between the Onwote cameras and my cameras, is that I can't do that with my cameras. Again, I'm using Explorer. Some of this functionality, as far as selecting regions, is not available in Chrome or Edge, but you know, other functionality is. So you can still come in here. This is Chrome. You can still come in here to cameras and select your schedule. All right, so we'll take a quick look at the Guard Station app here on PC. They have this for mobile devices as well. I have it on my Android tablet as well as my cell phone. I'm going to change the pane layout to 6 panes here. And then we can just simply drag the cameras over to the pane that we want to see them in. Now, if I wanted to rename this, it's called Garage View right now. I can right click and say rename. Just change that to entry. Hit OK, and that's how easy it is to rename a camera. Now, now that I've renamed it here, that'll be applied on the system itself. So on my other devices, it will also show garage entry. Now, if I wanted to move these around a little bit, if let's say I wanted to say that as my primary, I can just drag these windows around. Okay. If I double click one, I can zoom in. And it's a lot clearer because we were looking at the substream. Now we're looking at the mainstream, and just kind of look at the gravel here in the driveway. I hope that it's translating. There's some options down here. We can enable audio by clicking this button here. I'm not sure if you hear that or not. This is a digital zoom. If we wanted to zoom in on that inspection sticker, we can see that it's 2122. All right, so what I'm doing here is mirroring my Android phone. I do believe that the app is available on iOS as well, okay? And it's defaulting to a live view of the backyard here. Now, I've been playing around with the settings a little bit, but you can go to playback here. Now, keep in mind that you can access the NVR locally. And you can also access it via their cloud, Onwote's cloud setup. And obviously the advantage is if you're going to access it, if you're on your own network, you're on your own Wi-Fi, you want to access the local NVR because it's going to be faster. It's not going to use any mobile data and so forth. However, if you're not on your local network, they do have a cloud service that allows this functionality to access your NVR and also receive push notifications and so forth, okay? So we're here under playback, and so we can just go to the backyard wide and we'll search for today. And what I had done was I temporarily disabled that human detection just because I kind of wanted to see what it would do if there would be any motion alerts that would trigger for our demonstration here. And what I'm doing is I'm just sort of scrolling along the timeline on the bottom here. And there it is. You can see right there. And it's been raining out. We've had a squirrel out front. And so temporarily, and I'm just going to take my 2 fingers and I'm expanding that timeline. That's the equivalent of scrolling the mouse button like I was doing. Okay, so you can really zoom in on the time. Okay. And we can kind of see what was going on at that time, okay? It could have been rain. It could have been who knows what it was, right? And then I turned around and enabled the human detection because I wanted to demonstrate that, okay? All right, so I just want to run through real quick before I go outside and demonstrate the alert. Here for scheduling, you do have a lot of options. So you could say, for example, right now we have it set to record 24/7, but we could also pick what do we want to receive for notifications. We might not want to receive notifications for motion, but we might want to receive notifications for human detection. Okay, but we might want to record all the time, right? We might want to record events, or we might want to record motion events. You can have alarms, motion and alarm, or motion or alarm, okay? And then the other thing you can do here, this is obviously by time, 24 hours in a day, and by day of the week. So today's Sunday. We could decide, okay, well, we don't want to record, you know, if we go to motion only, we could say we only want motion triggered events from, you know, midnight to 4:30 a.m. and, you know, at the, you know, basically nighttime. And that's just for this one camera, or I can copy to all, or I can select individual cameras, okay? So there's just some options you can play with in terms of scheduling. So right now we have, it's just constantly recording, but it's still going to detect human and vehicle detection events. So hit save on that. Let's bring the phone back up here again. All right, so there we are in live view. And let's go clear out any notifications that might be there. Oh, incidentally, to turn on notifications, we've got to go here. Let's flip that back on. All right, so there are no notifications in there right now. Let's go see if we can get a human detection notification to happen. I should have left that on live view because I think my phone timed out, but it should have received a notification here. All right, human body detection right there. If we click it, we can see the recorded event. Okay. So that's the way that works. And if you have that enabled, you can greatly reduce the number of notifications that you'd receive. And also, you know, depending on how you have your schedule set up, you can also greatly reduce the amount of drive space that you're recording all of the time, which means you'll be able to record further back, or you'll be able to retain recordings further back, okay? Because it's not going to overwrite as quickly. Okay, something else I want to kind of highlight here is, well, a couple of things actually. But one thing would be how easy it is to search for footage. You know, and then the other thing is we have this button here, so you can do synchronous playback. And I found that it works fairly well. There may be a few seconds between the footage that you're playing, but in general, it works really well. Okay, I'm just going to scroll forward because I do want to try to get something at night. Okay, so the reason why I included one of my previous or my existing 5 megapixel cameras is that you can see there is a distinct difference in clarity and sort of pixelation between the 5 megapixel camera and the Onwote 4K cameras, right? I mean, there's really no comparison in clarity. I mean, the flag here, which is quite a ways away, is more clear than this one here that's zoomed in. Scroll it forward. Now, I don't know if you notice, but because we're on synchronous playback, when I double click one of these motion events or here on the timeline, all of the cameras, their time changes, right? So that's real helpful if you're trying to track an event that may have occurred on multiple cameras, that you could actually go and say, okay, I want to play synchronous playback, and then kind of have them in the same time frame and be able to scroll forward. Now this one obviously didn't have footage at that time. I just clicked right there. Okay, now if we click there, you can see this one I had set up for motion and was not recording 24/7. This one I had set up for motion and recording 24/7. Obviously these are not set up for human detection at this point. All right, so there's one more thing I want to highlight here, and this is geared probably more towards a business than it is a home, but I took the time to import a layout of my home. It's not exactly right. The stairs didn't land here, the bathroom didn't land here, but it's generally the dimension of my home, and you can place the cameras where they are. So for example, this is the garage camera, and you can click on the cameras and bring up sort of a view. That's the driveway wide. Here's the main entry. Now the other thing you can do is there are these hut zones here. And you can also see where the cameras are located sort of on the outside of the house. So there's the back corner. So you can tell that's one of the older cameras. That's the field view. That's the existing camera I brought in. That's the backyard wide that we used to test the human detection alert. We have the front view. It's my secondary entry. And again, this may not be a real impressive view, but what I'm trying to do here is ensure that I capture the door, right? Now, I could have taken this and shot it out towards the woods. I probably would have had a lot more interesting footage with wildlife and so forth, but for security, camera purposes, what I have here is this door fully covered, right? Nobody's going to squeeze by here and get to the door or the window. I have a bay window right here without being seen. So that's why, when I talked about twisting the camera or positioning the camera in such a way that I have this whole full side of the house covered. This is my driveway wide, the one we've used quite a bit, and I like that view. Now here's the older camera. But I think it's kind of cool. Main entry. Now this really pretty much shoots straight down. But if somebody's walking up to the door, I've got them. And also this shed. I've got a pretty good shot of the shed between that and the driveway wide. So I'll probably take some time and adjust some of the angles and so forth. I've got kind of redundancy here with the old camera. I mean, now I'm inclined to say these two cameras need to be replaced because it's tough to go back and forth and see this view. And I see this view with the Onwote camera. So, hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video has been helpful. I plan on doing another video because I want to show something else I want to show, and I've taken the time to do on this system is I've added all of these cameras to an app on my Sony Android TV using the RTSP or real-time streaming protocol URL, and it's real easy to do, and the streams look great. So hey, thanks for watching. Leave questions and comments down below. I encourage everyone to check out Onwote. I've got a link to their product in their Amazon seller page, and so far I've been blown away with their products. I'm real happy with them, and I hope I'll probably be getting more, and you'll look for videos on those as well. Take care. Thanks for watching. Leave questions and comments below, and if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Bye.